to Hind al-Khoudary in Deir el-Balah, central Gaza, for the latest on the situation on the ground. Let's start with northern Gaza, Hind, and the Israeli bombing campaign there intensifying. Bring us up to speed with the latest.
House after house, neighborhood after neighborhood, family after family. And it's not only the fact that there's constant Israeli airstrikes and Israeli shelling, but also the fact that the northern Gaza Strip, especially Jabalia and Beit Lahiya, have been under an Israeli siege for more than 3 weeks now. We're talking about at least 100,000 Palestinians without food, water, medicine, and even aid is not entering that area. Also, it's very important to mention the fact that there's no ambulances, there's no civil defense teams, and also there's no paramedics. We have been seeing the past couple 3 airstrikes on residential houses where dozens of Palestinians have been killed and dozens of others are still trapped under the rubble. We saw people, neighbors pulling and rescuing those bodies of those people who are trapped under the rubble. They were using only their hands because they do not have any equipment. But also we have been talking to some Palestinians stuck in the north. They said that for more than 3 weeks now, they have not been able to feed their children. All the desalination water plants are not working anymore because there's no fuel. They're drinking dirty water. And on top of that, they could not escape because the Israeli drones and quadcopters are targeting whoever moves from those areas. The situation is still intensifying. And why the Israeli forces now are focusing all of their airstrikes on Beit Lahiya is because people from Jabalia evacuated and were forced to evacuate to Beit Lahiya and the Gaza city. So residents of Beit Lahiya opened their homes and hosted people from Jabalia's refugee camp. The situation is very hard. It's terrifying. It's horrifying. And according to ICRC and the PCRS, they have been saying that they have been receiving overwhelming number of calls from Palestinians asking for rescue and also for food and water.
And extremely difficult to provide that because northern Gaza, as you've said, Hind, is still under Israeli siege. That has been going on for 26 days now. The strikes, though, and the bombing hasn't been limited to just the north. There's also been strikes on central Gaza, where you are, and on southern Gaza.
Well, definitely. Also, the fact that there has been no ambulances, no civil defense teams, is also adding misery to the situation. But even here in the southern Gaza Strip, there's no medical supplies. So people who have been injured, people who have been affected by those airstrikes, and not only that, the people who have been having chronic diseases and been affected by different diseases who come here to Al-Aqsa Hospital do not have any medicine. We have been asking people from different areas, how are they coping? How is it happening? But even here in the southern parts of Gaza Strip, there has been no aid reaching Palestinians. There have been no bakeries working the same exact way they used to work. People are spending hours on the lines waiting for bread. Also here in Al-Aqsa, we have been seeing hot meals where thousands of people are queuing for a hot meal. So the situation is not only about airstrikes, not only about the Israeli siege, but also the humanitarian situation, and the health situation is literally collapsing.
Thank you very much, Hind al-Khoudary, live for us there in Deir el-Balah, central Gaza.